and we'll try to answer as many as possible. We already have a question, actually. As someone with anxiety, I know what helps me calm me down from an attack. What are some things that help you calm down from anxiety panic attack?
For me, one of the things that I have to do is to make sure that I'm not in a place where I can get distracted by my own negative thoughts. And so, like, as an example, having a bath can help me a lot of the times to relax and de-stress. But there was one instance where I did that when I was feeling really bad and I didn't give myself a book to read or a podcast to listen to. And so I ended up just feeling worse afterward. So that helped me to separate that, yes, a bath helps, but what's really helping me here is to be in that relaxing situation and have something that can distract me from those negative thoughts, like a podcast or a book, where like that for me absorbs a lot of attention. So having something that will absorb that attention for me. And also, I carry a lot of stress in my shoulders. So getting a massage can sometimes really help for me.
What about you, Jessy?
Oh yeah, panic attacks and anxiety attacks are things that I don't get often, but it's usually my mind's way of saying, hey, you've been ignoring really important stuff. You haven't gotten back to a friend, or you haven't been doing projects at work like you're supposed to, and the deadline's coming up. So because I do have a lot of experience, a decent amount of experience in doing therapy and being a therapist, like it's something that I have self-treated and self cared for with myself, so I could feel it coming on. I could feel my heart rate going up, and like I have a Fitbit now, so it tells me like, you know, right now I'm at 80, which is normal because you're on a stream and you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself well and you're a little bit stressed out about it. Usually my resting's at 60. So like I can feel it when like it beeps at me and it's like, "Oh, you hit 100." I'm like, "Oh, I you know, all the shitty things that I've been feeling today and how I've been sad and angry and frustrated and lost all at the same time is definitely an anxiety or a panic attack coming on." So being able to get myself away from like a stress or a trigger, sometimes that happens when I watch certain scenes in movies or TV shows and I'm not told beforehand, like, hey, this kind of violent situation is going to come up. So like I just have to pause it and just walk around the house a little bit, like get a drink of water. That's what I do for my panic attacks, and just breathing, doing breathing exercises. My Fitbit comes with like a relaxation breathing thing, so you can like switch to that and focus on the circle getting bigger and then smaller and do your breathing exercise like that. So those are physical ways of me being able to get through it when they do happen. And then preventing them in the first place is making sure that when I have a to-do list that I make at the beginning of the week, either Sunday night or Monday morning when I get into the office, say, these are the emails that I need to focus on. These are the tickets that I need to reply to. These are the people who come up to me and say, hey, I need help with this, but whenever you have time. Well, if I do whenever I have time, since I am socially anxious, I'm just never going to do it. So working towards that and getting better at that, and just actually doing things has reduced that anxiety, and therefore it's reduced my anxiety attacks and such. So like I remember 3 years ago when I was working in IT, I would psych myself up all week to be able to call the printing vendor to say, hey, we're out of ink and therefore we need a new stock. And they always say, yep. And then they show up the next morning and they do it. There's never a problem. But like for some reason in that job, it stressed me out so much. And now I'm on calls and teleconferencing and stuff like almost every day for this job. And being able to realize like, oh, I have gotten better. I might not be perfect, but like I could do phone calls now. I might not be able to call a doctor myself without like psyching myself up for like a few days, but it's better than when I was a young adult in like my early 20s and I just wouldn't call at all. If they didn't have an email or if I couldn't like walk by really quick and it was a part of like my walking routine to and from work, then I wouldn't go. And those kind of things have also helped me when I do have anxiety and panic attacks. Like, oh, I've had this so much worse. It's okay. I'm going to get through this. It just feels really weird right now. Oh, okay. I'm better now. And that's how I deal with them personally.
I really like the points that you made. I don't really have much experience with like panic attacks, but dealing with like stress and anxiety, making lists is like super helpful. Like there's just a lot of times where I have so much going on, and I just sit here and I don't do anything. I'm just like staring at Twitter. Like I'm like, I feel terrible, but I just don't even know where to start. Like listing out what I have to do really helps me visualize like, okay, like,
Absolutely.
like, help you realize what you have going on, and being able to cross things out and make that list shorter as you just start knocking things out. Making a list has definitely really helped. And also looking back and seeing the progress that you've made. For me, public speaking is not something I'm comfortable with, which is kind of weird because I stream, but it's different when you're, in person. And at TwitchCon, I participated in 2 panels, and I was on like stage for a couple of things. And I just kind of like signed up for these things, not thinking about it until like it was getting closer, and realizing like what I'm gonna do, and getting through it and having a great experience, having a positive experience come out of it. Although I was a nervous wreck during it, being able to say that I did this, like I spoke in public, I did fine, I did well, and had good feedback. And it gives me confidence going forward, and hopefully, next time I won't be as stressed out. So I really like those points that you made there.
And just a really quick thing about social anxiety. The number one thing that therapists will tell people to do is to do things that scare you. And eventually you'll realize that you are getting better at them, because it's basically this primal instinct in us where we feel like, oh, there's an attack and I need to protect myself. And it's the fight or flight syndrome. And a lot of people flight when it comes to social anxiety, and they over worry and they over stress about things. And when you eventually say to yourself, it's okay if I fail at it, at least I tried, and that's better than what I did the last time this opportunity came up. And then you realize, oh, I didn't fail. I watched the VOD, and maybe I could have been a little bit better at this and this and this. Okay, I'll do that better next time. And then you do it, and then you keep doing it. I'm sure like you can remember some of your first streams, you were like, oh, do I have to turn on a webcam? Do I have to talk into the microphone? Like,
right.
Do I have to commentate over the game? And then now it's something, most days it's natural, and it's like, yeah, bam, I'm so good at this. So being able to realize I've done this before in something else, therefore I'm going to apply the skill set that I have and put it to something else, and realize, oh, these little parts work well for this, and this one I have to tweak, and this one, oh, I can't do at all when it comes to like hosting something or talking in front of a bunch of people physically. And eventually you figure it out and you get better at it. So
yeah. Next question: how do you prevent yourself from